All right. It's recording.
Can you reach that, Sean?
Is that on?
Yep, we're recording.
It's on. Okay, thanks.
All right, this is the Tilton Northfield Fire District. Today is July 14th, 2025. We're in the Tilton Town Hall upstairs meeting room. I'm Tim Sattler. Additionally here are Commissioners Paul Ozier, Jason Wright, joined by Deputy Chief Alvaney, Kathy, as always, and from the public, Kevin Waldron. Bring the meeting to order. All right, public comment.
So, we have two ambulances. Third one on order. 2 years down the road, we'll have four. True statement, yes or no?
Not yet.
Hmm?
Not yet. Can't make a true statement about the future.
We have three on order. We own two, there's one
Correct.
we have on order.
Yep, correct.
It's been put out there by more than one person that we will have four.
Not me. How about you?
I mean, as we've been talking about the fire station, as, you know, building out new fire stations for the future, we want to make sure that we could house four, anticipating at some point down the road, we may need to have a fourth.
We have those two ambulances now because we need them. We have however many calls per year we have. We have a certain percentage, 40-something% maybe, of back-to-back simultaneous and overlapping calls. I think that's a true statement. And we need those ambulances available to us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, for EMS, E being the key letter. E stands for emergency. So no one would ever allow a situation to occur where one or more of our ambulances would not be available to us. I hope. I have information that says that we sent one of our ambulances and a crew to cover a private event. That event being the hill climb during Bike Week at Gunstock Mountain. While that was happening, that ambulance was not available to us. It's also known in the public that one of our ambulances and some crew went 70 miles to the city of Keene. That's 2.5 hours just travel time. That ambulance was not available to us. A minimum of 2.5 hours, but I think it was much longer than that. I want to know how that happens, who allowed it, and if we can do that, I can make a pretty damn good case that we don't need two ambulances, because we need them. I know in my head and my heart we need them. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, they need to be here. There are times we need more. We've all seen it, we all live it. How is that acceptable? Gunstock didn't pay for that ambulance. Keene didn't pay for that. How many ambulances are there between here and the city of Keene?
I'm glad you brought it up, Kevin, actually, because
70?
I was gonna bring it up anyhow.
70 miles. Who paid the crew? Was
I don't
it our
know,
duty
I don't know
crew?
if they volunteered or I was gonna bring it up.
Did they, that was our crew, I hope we're not
I would
letting other
assume,
people
I
run
would
our
assume it was,
Right?
I would assume.
So they were paid, because if you don't pay them, that's a no-no, because if something happens to them, they're on the clock, you're in trouble. So were they were they paid overtime?
Did we have somebody cover for them, or did they get down on their own? That's the question
Yeah,
I
no,
want to ask.
if you're allowing people, your employees, to be active duty and not get paid, if they're working, they better be getting paid. And if they're scheduled to be off and they come in to pay, that's overtime. If it's our duty crew, shame on whoever.
I agree.
I need some answers, some real, meaningful answers that are gonna tell me what the hell happened. That event in Guilford is a private event. That should be covered by a private company. We used to cover it way back when, private ambulance company. I'm, you know,
I can speak to both if you guys
Oh,
would like me
because
to.
It's brand new to me, so.
I can speak to both.
I
Yeah.
didn't
So-
realize one in Guilford, I mean, in Guilford.
So the one in Guilford, we've covered my entire career.
Yeah.
We cover private details, that we always have. We have a detail rate. They pay us, I believe, $88 an hour per provider, somewhere around there, Kathy. And then $100 for the day for the ambulance. So they reimburse us 100%. We actually, there is administrative costs. It's a special detail. It's a very common thing that ambulance companies
Yeah.
do. We've done it my entire career, not just for Gunstock, for other events too at Highlands, and we provide special details. We still have the 4 individuals on duty. We do not take the duty crew. We take people off duty.
Right.
And that's what, so we've done it my entire career for Gunstock Hill Climb,
Yeah.
and they pay the appropriate costs.
Right.
And all costs associated with that come from Gunstock, or whoever, I don't know who actually
It
pays for
came
them.
in, it got stuck.
we don't need the ambulance here. If we didn't need it then, we don't need it now.
I mean, there is times when the ambulance needs to cover special events, and that's part of the responsibility of having a ambulance company. People,
No. An
So
municipal
Kevin-
ambulance is from municipally, to provide for the municipality. There are companies in business to do that. Municipality should never interfere with private enterprise, never.
it is
And-
far.
And if that is the case, it has been going on for 20 years or so,
Did you ever hear about it when you were on there?
huh?
When you were commissioner, did you ever hear about it?
No.
I never did either, honestly.
So why do you allow it?
I didn't know. I did know about the funeral. I didn't know about that, but I heard about it.
So the funeral we covered in Keene, typically he was a line of duty death. So there's not many of those. It's not like those happen on a weekly basis. So there was a line of duty death in Keene, and so we provided cover. It's a very common thing in the fire service. When we had Harold Harder's funeral here, we had cover trucks come in and they covered us. And they cover you for the day or the 2 days, however long the services happen.
Yeah.
And the reason we covered Keene is because they can't ask one company to cover them for 48 hours. It's just not.
Yeah.
So they share the load throughout I know Alton provided coverage, Dover provided coverage, Camp Authority provided coverage. I saw the whole action plan, I don't remember, but I believe there was about 24, because they had to provide 2 ambulances, 2 fire trucks, and a ladder throughout the whole 48-hour event. So we provided 12 hours of coverage for that. In turn, if we have a line of duty death or a chief's death, we would get the same coverage provided to us.
Yep.
It's a very mutual thing. It doesn't happen often,
Right.
but when it does happen, you need to cover that. That's part of being a good partner and a good fire partner in the state.
Is there any way to tell how many calls we took during those 2 events? Where we
not-
would have needed that second ambulance, didn't have it?
I could run those numbers. I don't have those numbers in front of me. I can get those for you.
Well, because in the chief's report, it says here, overlapping and simultaneous incidents accounted for 83% of the incidents in June. On 6/20 and 6/28, we had an ambulance out of town assisting with the funeral in Keene and the hill climb in Guilford. This accounted for the large increase in multiple incidents. So I read that to say that there was incidents where
So once you have, the 83%, I'm not quite sure, I wish the chief was here, because I ran the numbers, I know you saw the, you guys get the deputy's report that I sent out. Without those two functions, there was 24, 48, 60, 70 incidents that were overlapping out of the 218. So to get to that.
That's a third.
Yeah, so to get to that number of 83%, I'm not quite sure where the math came in on 83%, but I can go,
Unless the 83 of those days,
yeah.
those were
So,
tracked, just those days.
During the hill climb, I mean, I guess I could, hold on, if you give me 2 minutes to find out where the hill climb happened.
Six 6/28 was the date.
That was the date of the funeral, oh, here, right here. So the hill climb on 6/18, so it was call number 111. So 25 is. This is tough without running the actual, right, 1111. Oh. So during the hill climb, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 other calls.
Total.
Total.
How many hours was the hill climb?
I believe we covered for 10 hours.
Yes.
And there were 7 calls, and does that report give you whether they were overlapping or not? Or-
Yeah, that was the overlapping with 25-1111. So there were 7 overlapping calls with that call. 1112.
Yeah, we had 8 incidents during that
Yeah.
time period.
So 1112 to 1118. So I'd have to go back here.
Is the hill
So-
climb a one-day event?
A one-day
It
event,
is.
yeah. So 11112 overlapped with 11113, 1113, but the 1113, it was a public service assistance engine 2 handled.
14 and 15.
14 and 15 overlapped, and we did get a mutual aid ambulance from Sanverton on that.
And then 16 would fall within that, just outside that hour,
Yep, well, we handled those.
yes.
So we called 1 mutual aid ambulance during that time.
All right, so just for my education and clarification, I guess I'm looking at 2 different issues.
Mhm.
One being, when we send the ambulance up to Guilford in this particular, they reimburse us for the ambulance and the labor was not one of the 4, none of the 4 currently on duty members.
Correct.
Correct.
But during that time, we relied on Samberton for 1 overlapping ambulance.
Mhm.
Going back to Kevin's point, we couldn't use our ambulance because it wasn't here. Going down to the Keene, obviously, we weren't reimbursed for that.
Mhm.
We were there for 12 hours.
12 hours there and the travel time both ways.
Right, less, so
Yeah, we were there for 12 hours.
plus travel.
Yeah.
And that wasn't, the current day crew that day,
That was not the current day crew, we hired in 2 on overtime.
So we paid overtime for those?
Correct.
We sent 2 people?
2 people.
So we paid overtime for 2 people for 14, 15 hours.
Correct.
I'm curious why in Guilford, the hill climb is in Guilford.
Yes.
Why is Guilford not there?
They provide the other ambulance. So they have 2 ambulances on site. It's the same, we haven't done one in a while, but like, so when Highland Mountain Bike Park has an event, we cover one of the ambulances, and then they'll have another ambulance come out. And that was back when they used to televise the events and stuff, they haven't done that in a while. And I believe we always just, it was a good mutual aid partner, it's like when, there's private ambulances out there, there's not many, they're folding left and right, another one folded this week.
There's a new one in Canterbury.
Hmm?
There's a new one in Canterbury.
There is? I haven't seen it yet, what's the name of it? So I can-
You know, I was gonna tell you, but you didn't ask me.
Well, can I go back to the Keene? How is it decided who's gonna fill in for them? Is
So
it
they
sort of-
call and ask, basically. It's, you mean on the fire department side for our side?
Yeah,
We send it out just, so there's a, I'm trying to, how can I do it simply? There's a rotation through the firefighters, and it goes through that same rotation. And it's all voluntary. And then when we get to the mandatory, there's two different lists, there's a voluntary list and a mandatory list, to fill all our openings, and it was filled the same way, and it was filled voluntarily.
so it's not based on like who's closest who can fill those positions, like you mentioned Dover, sending a crew over.
Oh, are you saying that, how does Keene do it? So Keene, they usually start locally and then they work their way out, correct? That would be, and then when they get out to, a certain, like, they're not gonna ask us to provide a ladder truck with 4 members on it. They know that's just not, feasible for Tilton Northfield to provide a ladder truck. Providing an ambulance was a much easier ask than providing a ladder truck or an engine with 4 people on
But
it.
they couldn't get an ambulance closer.
They did. If you look through their, I wish I had their, they had a very well thought out action plan on who they used. And it was basically asking each department to cover one 12-hour shift. I believe Nashua, Manchester, and one other department covered multiple 12-hour shifts. They have more manpower, they have more availability to cover that. But yeah, so when the smaller departments like us, they asked us to cover one 12-hour shift. It's the same thing, so if we had the death of a line of duty death here, we would do the same exact thing. And there's a, can't remember the name of the team, it's the Granite State Support Team. I'm probably saying that name wrong. They come in and help you, because it's not an everyday occurrence that it happens.
And do we know how many overlapping calls we had that day in Keene?
I could figure,
There weren't that many.
I could find that out.
What day of the week was that?
28 was,
The 13th?
You do that?
I knew that.
the 28th was a Tuesday. No, wait a minute, that was January, sorry. It was a Saturday.
Was there a point on either one of those days where there was no ambulance in Tilton, Northfield, Franklin, Sandridge, Belmont, or Gilmanton?
Not to my knowledge, but I don't know that answer.
How would we know that? Would we have to contact?
Someone knows it.
Would we have to contact somebody up at Lakes Region and?
Gilmanton, Belmont was out, Gilmanton took it. Another one came from Belmont, apparently we took that one. We had one, Salmon took that. Franklin was on their own. That's a lot of towns in ambulance coverage, because we're doing whatever the hell we're doing, wherever we're doing. I don't find that acceptable on any level. I don't care what other departments do. I don't pay their bills. I hope I never get hurt in any other town. If I want to get hurt, I want to get hurt right here, because I know what we have. And this is the place to get hurt if you're gonna get hurt. No doubt about it.
Belmont is down an ambulance. They went out of commission.
Say that again?
Belmont has an ambulance out of commission, so they're down one.
Right.
So that's part of the issue.
I think we also struggle from the, knock on wood, we have a full department right now.
Yes.
And all of our trucks are on the road right now.
It wasn't that long ago that one ambulance was in the shop, so we were running our business in town with one ambulance,
Right.
period. Not in Laconia, Keene, Guilford, or Canada. We were running on one.
We've done
So,
it many times over the
Second
years.
call, we respond
Someone
with
else.
an engine, or we respond with pickup truck and
Someone else does transport.
yeah, and
That's
right.
how the system works, but when you knowingly, even in advance, knowing that's gonna happen, no.
I mean, covering the hill climb, we could probably have a debate, but in my mind, there's no debate on covering the Keene funeral. It is part of the responsibility of the fire department. If it happens to us, they're gonna do it for us. Happens to them, we do it for them. The special detail, I think, is being a good partner. If you chose not to do that, I mean, that's your decision, I guess, the decision of the fire department. I mean,
It's a little different than a police detail when you're doing flagging and you've got plenty of cruisers in the yard and I get it. An ambulance is a definitely a different piece of equipment to take out of town and,
Well, I mean,
you know,
also-
God forbid something happens, you get in an accident out of there, like, oh, well, we were, you know.
And
Well,
at-
and
at
we
12
dinged it.
hours, 2 guys in the ambulance, what did it cost us? 2 guys on overtime, that's $40 an hour, times 12, times 2. That sounds like $1,000 plus the cost of the rig to me. That
Oh, you,
I paid for, I got nothing out of it.
I mean, I think you got the assurance that when it happens to us, we're gonna have the coverage. I mean, that's what you got out of
They
it.
should at least, you shouldn't be doing it anyway, because that's too goddamn far, it's 70 miles. We're not talking about Franklin or a border town, or someone we interact with on a daily basis. I wouldn't be sitting here running my mouth if that was the case. And we got did I hear $100 a day for the ambulance in Guilford?
That's what we've been charging for
Yes.
my career, yeah,
$100 a day.
for the ambulance, and then you pay the crew on top.
That thing costs $300,000. You can't rent a $50,000 excavator for $100 a day. Am I making any sense to
no,
anybody?
you're making a tremendous amount of sense. Yeah, yeah. Well, I
Three
mean,
hundred and $25 a day for a 10,000-pound excavator. That costs $49,000.
well, one of the thoughts I have, and, you know, again, I'm not a firefighter, never have been, but, you know, we have this whole mutual aid system that works really well, except when you have a storm and every other town needs mutual aid too, there's no mutual aid available. Well, the same thing, we're gonna have an ambulance up there at Guilford. Do we know that Belmont's got an ambulance now when we decide we're gonna do that? Do we know that, you know, the surrounding towns aren't available for mutual aid? Of course, you don't know that in advance, but, you know,
We
when
didn't
you
know
feel,
Belmont was down in ambulance. We did know that. I'm outside the box. I knew that.
right, do we know that when we agreed to support the program months in advance when they probably arranged that? You know,
We
having
need to pay attention to home.
having a third ambulance, well, then maybe it's a different story, but we don't have a third ambulance.
Well, shit, that doesn't look to me like we need one.
Well, we
You know
know
why?
that that's not always.
Because we're sending them away and only having one half of what we got. How do you convince people we need 3 when you can, on a whim, at any given time, send one away? We don't need it.
I know, and then we look at the calls, you have days where you have 4 calls and days when you have 16. You don't know in advance.
You know,
I hear what you're saying.
I was never aware that we covered Guilford. Noticed it on- I never knew that. Never. Never
and you
knew.
would think, well,
I never knew, Kevin.
someone who's been around as long as you,
I know, you think I would have
you'd
known.
think you would know.
I know.
You're not told what's going on.
No.
That's the problem.
I would have, I knew about,
Because if you were told, you'd have said, oh, no, no, no.
well, I probably would have.
I know you well enough. for
Yeah,
that.
I would have.
So,
You're not told.
can I ask about another detail like we do up at Lochmere Country Club
Mhm.
when they have a concert or?
Yeah, when they have a more than a 3-piece band, yes.
Do we have a piece of equipment up there?
The pickup truck,
Okay.
yeah,
And a firefighter?
one firefighter.
And it's not one of the 4 on duty?
It's not one of the 4 on duty.
And they're paying,
They pay for the cost of it.
That's volunteering it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I request, I've told them that we can't cover it, I'm not gonna mandatory somebody to cover that detail. So I usually go to the call company first, and then if I can't get somebody from the call company, I'll go through the full-time staff. And then that's paid at detail rate, and we charge detail rate on that. And it's a 4-hour minimum.
Even in that case, guess where that person in that vehicle is? In town.
right.
I thought about this long and hard before I decided I was coming in here. I could not make sense of it. I get, you know, if we do it for them, so they'll do it for us. At no cost. And we're renting out our ambulance for $100 a day.
You know,
Who sets that rate?
I could see if it was in the Lakes Region Mutual Aid. I could see something like that.
Yeah,
I could see if the guy had something to do with Tilton Fire Department years ago, or was a big part of the Tilton Fire Department. I could see that.
There are many reasons, Paul, to do it.
I cannot see, and I feel bad that he passed away, and my heart goes out to him, and I think the guys are great to get down there. But the people around that pay for this service would not like that.
Obviously.
So, whose authority is it?
I weren't aware of it.
Whose authority is my question?
I guess it would be ours if we knew about it.
So then I'll say this to you. If it pisses you off 10% as much as it does me, you ought to stand up and do something about it. Really. You wouldn't let me, as well as you, all you know me, you would not let me go jump in anything we own and take it for a ride. You shouldn't. Nor should you allow that to go so far away, our assets. We should not be interfering with private enterprise. I know for a fact those events used to be covered by private ambulances because I worked for them. And if they can't cover it and they demand coverage, that's on them. That's their event, not ours.
I agree. I agree with you, Kevin, 100%.
I would like,
Dig, find out, and do something about it.
I guess I'd like to ask the chief,
Yeah.
how many of these types of things we do to get a better idea how often this happen. And then
It's the
what,
only detail we do that am I missing one?
You're not missing any. We do the details at Lockmere, but those are in
Those in
town.
town.
It's just the hill climb.
The hill climb's the only one
The only
I
one.
could never,
Yes. And then the event in Keene, that is the first time since I've been here that has happened, that there's been a line of duty death for a firefighter where we've had to cover.
we offered coverage for AJ.
Yes. but
Concord,
They didn't,
and
they
they
refused.
They
it.
declined it. That's, yeah.
well, I guess the commissioners don't have a policy on that, nor do we have ever offered, that I know of, any guidance on stuff like that, or been asked for guidance when the situation comes up and
Well, the Keene thing doesn't make sense, because why couldn't our staff go there and run their equipment?
I wouldn't want my staff working on another ambulance.
Okay, that's why,
Yeah,
is it just like, you
No,
know, somebody else packing your suitcase, you don't wanna take that
Because they
chance?
I was trying to look, so we did 17 calls while we were there, but a lot of them were in Keene.
Yeah.
So I'd have to go back to the computer and figure out which ones are in Keene.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I think they went on 5 calls in Keene, plus the coverage, so I believe we did 11 calls in that 16-hour window, call it, or whatever it ended up being.
They had 2 transports.
We had 2 transports in the
Yes.
entire time, okay. So, they were outside of the Keene one? Yeah.
They were in Keene,
Oh, did 2 transports in Keene, but they went to a building fire in Keene,
yes.
and they did some other, they did.
so you say we responded to 6 calls when we were in Keene?
I think 6 total, I believe, I'd have to, I don't have the proper report in front of me. I believe it was 6, so the coverage counts as a call, and I believe we responded to 5 calls in Keene during that 12-hour span, one of them being the building fire.
So, for the numbers here, if that counts as a call, then every single call that comes in Tilton Northfield is a simultaneous call.
Correct. So that's the whole time they're gone, every call that comes in is a simultaneous call. And it took me, I know in my report, it took me a while to get those numbers out, because I didn't feel like they were truly overlapping calls, because they weren't, it was providing coverage somewhere, that's not the same as an emergency call overlapping.
If that's the case, if every call that day is a simultaneous call, doesn't that skew the statistics? They're not our calls.
Right. Well, nor should all of our calls be considered simultaneous. The only thing we were missing was the ambulance, we still had our 4 guys on it.
Correct.
Right.
So if, did I hear you right, you said the only thing we were missing was the ambulance? We still had our 4 guys on, is that what you said?
I did,
And
right?
you just told me we don't need 2 ambulances. all we were missing is the ambulance, that's all it was. And
Well, except we needed one, we had one, transport.
And then how long was that ambulance down? 2.5, 3 hours? It's pretty
Well,
easy.
no, we needed mutual aid for one transport that we couldn't
So
do.
it's pretty easy to tie up an ambulance for 3 hours, isn't it? Pretty easy to tie up an ambulance for 3 hours on a go.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably extended, but yes, I mean, we wouldn't, I can't think of a
Is
time.
average 2 hours? Is average an hour and a half?
I mean, of downtime or complete the call, because there is a difference. 'Cause
Yeah,
to-
downtime, where you
Of
can't-
actually
where the
truly
ambulance-
can't respond to a call, I mean, I'd say the average is probably 40 minutes. You know, but by the time you have to restock, you have to clean, you have to do your report, but those can be done, you can go handle another call and not get those things done. And then, you know, the ambulance isn't truly down that entire time. It does take longer than the downtime and the complete call time are a different,
And the majority of the transports are going over to Franklin, so it's not like you're driving to Concord.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
You don't know where you're gonna go.
Well, you don't know, right, but typically, the majority of the transports go to
If you're
Franklin.
on 93, you got a trauma code, you're going to Concord, you're gonna pick around over in Franklin. I think you're going to Concord. I don't know what else I can say, I hope I've made my point,
You have made your point,
I
I
hope-
appreciate it.
that you find out, and you do something
Well, I think at a minimum, we as commissioners should be aware that these things are happening, other than seeing it on Facebook, well, our ambulance parked at the Keene Fire Station.
Facebook.
Because that's where I saw it.
That's right, sorry.
All right, thanks, Kevin.
about it. So, I'm gonna go, I didn't get my lunch today, so I gotta go meet them. So.
Thank you, Kevin.
And, you know, someone told me, because I told them what I was gonna do tonight, they said, well, you're gonna like that. No, I don't like that. I don't like that it happens, I don't like that, no one comes here and says anything. And I think it's very safe to say that what I didn't know, I was told by people who do know, because they wouldn't come here and tell you. And they at least thought I knew.
And I wouldn't have known about the gun stock thing unless somebody had told me or I read it here.
There was
You
in the
would've
chief's
read that
report,
here
right?
tonight for the first time, right?
Pardon me?
You would have seen that tonight for the first time?
No, I got this a week or so ago.
Oh,
2 weeks ago. All right, thanks, Kevin.
Thank you.
You too, Kevin.
I just think at a minimum, we should be aware that these things are happening. You know, so when somebody asks us about it, we're not deer in the headlights. You know, then we can have the whole conversation about appropriateness. I mean, it's a very valid point.
I don't like surprises.
Surprises are never fun. You don't wanna,
Right.
when somebody asks you about something, it happens to me in fire prevention a lot. It's not
I
fun.
mean, I don't wanna get to the point where we have to, you know, if these are long-term events, and maybe we have to have an approval process in place.
I mean,
I don't wanna micromanage this stuff.
No, and I don't
And
either,
that
and
would
I think that, sorry,
it's
I
a,
think that the Keene situation is obviously a very unusual one-off, but if we're doing the Gunstock Hill climb every year, then maybe that warrants further discussion. On two fronts, is $100 enough to be charging for the ambulance, which I think Kevin made a valid point, because you can't rent anything for $100, let alone a fully
Hyundai
stocked
for that, yeah.
ambulance.
That's, and you don't use that with either.
Our ambulance rate is not $100 a day. It was an agreement we made with Gunstock years ago. Kathy, I don't know how long ago that was.
I don't know how long ago, the chief made the agreement.
It was well,
Does
8,
that
10.
does that renew? Can we?
Oh, yeah,
in
that
terms of-
renews every year, so, we do have an ambulance billing rate for detail rate, so if somebody else called us, wouldn't just be $100 for the ambulance for the day. I think the thinking was the ambulance goes, it gets plugged in, it doesn't really go anywhere.
Right.
It's more, it's there to transport, we don't typically have a transport out of there.
If we use any supplies, do we bill for those supplies?
We would build, yeah, so it would be billed, if we transport a patient, it would be billed exactly the same as we transport a patient here, so those supplies.
What happens if we transport, Jason, listen to this question.
Yeah.
I'm kind of thinking it's important. What happens when we're at Gunstock and we do a transport and we bill the insurance, and we never get paid for it.
I think it would go the same as, our normal ambulance billing.
But,
We wouldn't get paid.
but shouldn't Gunstock be paying for that?
Yeah, I don't know, they hired us, I mean, that's the go after it.
Well, I mean, we say every time the ambulance rolls out of the garage, it's $2,000.
All right, rephrase the question, because I don't.
So what happens when we send the ambulance over to the Gunstock event?
Yep.
They paid us $100 plus they're paying an hourly rate
Yep.
per. We transport a patient
No, we bill them.
and they don't pay.
That's
We
wild.
use supplies,
Oh, yeah.
so,
Or the person, the patient says, you were paid to be here.
or the person doesn't have insurance, or
Yeah.
they're
You
from
just
Canada.
say,
or-
forget it. You guys are already paid to be here.
So which raises the question though, when we say that it costs $2,000 for the ambulance to roll out of the garage, well, if we're not gonna get reimbursed on a call, how do we recoup
We
that?
send the bill to it then, Gunstock?
Well, that's part of this conversation.
Right.
You were gonna say something when I interrupted you.
The special detail rate for the ambulance is $45 an hour. So if we do it for someone else, we're gonna charge them $45 an hour.
That's it?
That's
So
the-
if you're there
that's
for 10
the
hours, it's
current.
40
Is that-
details more than that.
Well, no, that's for the
That's just
ambulance.
Ambulance, oh, okay.
I believe
Not
it's
for the staff.
$80 an hour per
It's-
person,
It's $80 an hour per person.
and then a 10%.
10% administration fee.
That's where I got the 88. So-
No, that makes sense,
Yeah,
yeah.
there's a 4-hour minimum,
So if you have 2 people, $88 an hour each,
Yep.
and then $45 for the ambulance.
and that covers all of their pay and benefits. The detail rate has to cover all of that, and that's what we do. We make sure our
Yeah.
detail rate covers their retirement, their Medicare, all of that.
No, that, I get, that, somebody did the math, just to not have it cost us then,
Right.
but it's,
But it doesn't cover the cost of the ambulance.
or the opportunity cost of not having the ambulance here.
Right.
To his point, and I get
Right,
that, it's
right,
not
right,
like
right.
it's not like you got an extra police cruiser in the parking lot, and you go park it with the hood up, and you still get 5 other cruisers on the road.
So let me go back to, did we transport anybody?
From Gunstock, no.
No,
Did we care for anybody while we were there?
If we did, it was very minor, I didn't hear about it. Usually I'd hear if we treated anybody serious.
I didn't hear about it.
I didn't
They
hear.
would have made a report.
The last time I remember us treating somebody was 3 or 4 years ago. One of the riders, one of the professional riders separated their shoulder, and I think we treated non-transport. That was like 3 or 4 years ago. It's typically a very non-event event, you know.
Yeah.
We've been doing this for quite a while.
I think my whole career, if not, maybe not the whole career, but close to it.
I guess my thought is, why us? Why not ask somebody else too?
Or,
Oh, chances that they probably, Franklin would never go up there, I know they wouldn't. They would never do anything like
Yeah.
that, because their town is their town, that's what people pay for. And like I said, I see Kevin's point.
Oh, I do as well,
Yeah.
and, you know, my thought process was, if we're gonna do that type of event, I don't think we're charging enough. Because what happens if you have,
If you don't get paid.
if
That's
you-
it's a very good question, and I don't, yeah.
you know, you get a couple patients up there that need to be transported, and need, you know.
Yeah.
I
The
think
Keene one, I think, is just, I want to impress, I think it's a very important one. I understand Keene's far away. And that is a long way away. But it's going to happen, it's happened to us, and it's going to happen again. I mean, it's part of being a fire department in the state of New Hampshire. It is far away, and I understand that's
I could kind of understand that, but I just don't, you know, see it happen in, say, 2 weeks down the road, something now, well, let's get Tilton Northfield, they'll come down, they went to Keene.
Yeah.
To get to be a habit,
No, and I don't think the chief or
I've only
myself would.
heard about this once, so
Yeah.
hopefully it don't happen.
No, I don't think the chief or myself would let it become a habit, and we're you know, we're not gonna become the ambulance that goes and covers everybody. It was, I wish I had their action plan in front of us to show you how many different departments throughout the state did cover. And it wasn't like it was just us in Manchester, it was a ton of departments went and
I
supported.
saw the list, it was
Yeah.
quite a few.
Now,
So,
where did you see the list?
I read it on that line, Lebanon, I think Lebanon had an engine there,
yeah,
and
Camden Thornton.
Camp-
Can you email that out?
Yep,
I'd be curious just to see.
Is it something I can access, Sean?
It would be in my email,
No, I can't access that.
and I'm sorry,
It's okay.
Well, and, you know, to Jason's point, it's disconcerting to be approached by people who ask you these things and you don't know anything about them,
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know, and,
I was asking, I didn't have a clue.
all right, well, I mean, so,
that's not what I was expecting for a story.
oh. All right,
So that's, yeah.
and Keene, not, I don't know if it matters, Keene did provide one of their staff members to be with our crew at the same time too. They would never just send our crew out willy-nilly in their community. So they did have they call them a pilot.
Somebody's gotta know the roads.
Yeah. Thankfully, with one of the people who covered work at Deluzio, so, previously.
so you're not trying to find West, South Street?
Yeah, it's, especially in Keene, you
it's-
know, yeah.
Okay. All right, are we finished with that topic for right now? I think I will follow up with the chief.
I think it ought to be on the agenda of next meeting at some point.
Okay, can you add that to next?
I would like to hear Chief say that.
Okay. Is there any other public comment, members of the district, please? All right, then let's move to correspondence. Is there any correspondence, Kathy? No.
Just that email that the chief sent out to you.
Okay. Well, this sort of, I guess we could cover this as
Well, it
correspondence
was the,
and this one.
that one.
Okay. Because it leads into the building committee. So if you look at this memo that the chief sent us last week, he was on the town of Tilton select board agenda, and these were the three topics they discussed. The continuation of the parking lot, as far as gaining access to the back and having it surveyed, and apparently we own more property there than we thought.
Sounds like that worked out well.
I'm sure the town isn't happy
Survey.
about that.
Boom.
Yeah,
Did we pick that
it's a
up
pretty
with
good
the
amount
The
of,
town paper.
we haven't seen the actual.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't spray it or, you know.
Well, I'll be
Okay.
curious to see what that looks like, because,
Does that mean we get a bigger piece down on Sanborn Road?
or maybe we can renegotiate it. But I would imagine be very helpful if we could stripe and mark those, so you guys would have,
We could,
Be more
especially
assured.
it's okay right now, I don't wanna say it's good, it's okay, but as soon as snow comes,
Winter, yeah.
it is a
It's
nightmare.
out the window.
It is, someone's car's gonna get hit one of these days, and
Yeah.
it's, no one's car's got hit in that parking lot since Greg B shows. And on duty,
Yeah.
and I'm just, it's gonna happen again in the
Yeah.
winter. So that'll alleviate a lot of that, hopefully. I think I asked the chief what we wanna do, and he kinda wants to wait. He asked to wait to actually see the survey plan, so
Yeah.
we know, and then we can, make the appropriate decision once we get that survey plan. I know he's awaiting that plan.
I wonder if it'd be worth it, put up some type of barriers or something after.
We discussed that, and I think once we get it, we can really look. And we don't wanna limit our access either,
Oh, no,
it's-
but, keep it up.
And in addition to this, it doesn't affect us directly, but it does affect us is, from my understanding, where the piece is roped off, the back spots against the railroad aren't actually his property either, that's railroad property.
Yeah.
So that might open, so I don't know what's gonna come of that, I don't know.
so too many pieces there. All right, so we will hear more. Item 2, I don't know, can you talk to this? This is the fiber link between the
Oh,
acreage
yes.
property and the PD, which is supposed to, in my understanding, benefit both the PD and us?
Yeah, so I can talk at a very basic, very elementary level on this. I'm not a radio guy, never have been, don't really understand a lot of the upper workings of how it works. But, so there's two different portions to what this number 2 is. There's the microwave receiver, I hope I'm saying that right, and the chief's gonna be like, don't you
It
say it right.
sounds close.
For our local radio channels, TNFD 1, TNFD 2. one's a repeater, one's a local channel. And that will feed the microwave link, so we'll get better coverage down at that end of town. That's one of our, we had kind of two spots that were really bad. That one was way down East Tilton, one was over by Franklin. That's why last year he got that microwave link put on top of the water tower on that side of town. So it kind of helped that, boosted that side of town. This is gonna boost that side of town. In the same, and I don't know if it's the same, but in the same mechanism, the same assembly, the police radios work on that. And so the police radio for the town of Tilton is gonna have much better coverage on that end of town now. And that's what he went to the select board, because I believe the agreement was that they would pay for that microwave link. The fiber portion of it, because we secured the grant to pay for that, piece of equipment. Beyond that, I can't really explain too much on that end of it, but I can explain some stuff on the BDA end and some, because also in there, there is a booster for Lakes Region Channel 1 and Lakes Region Channel 5, I believe, or maybe all the Lakes Region channels. That's our emergency frequency. So our local channels, while they're not emergency, we use them on a day-to-day basis, and if we had a large area search or you talked about storms, they're perfect for storms. We don't have to rely on Lake Region. We can go to our own local repeaterized, and a person with a portable radio can speak from one end of town to the other to a portable radio, which if you ask your son, is amazing, like it doesn't happen. So that's part of this too.
So was it the original understanding was that we were applying for this grant and Tilton would fund getting the fiber?
They would get the fiber link because it is their emergency frequency, I guess, and I don't wanna say too much more than that, because now I'm getting into information I don't, you know, I wasn't part of the process, and so I'm kinda just going off the discussions I've had with the chief. So it explains more, you know, the police are gonna benefit, I guess, a lot from this, having this microwave link down on top of the new roof.
Right, it sounded like there was some confusion at the meeting and the chief is working to.
I know he's talked to Pat Constantino, and he's talked to some other people, and tried to explain it. I guess it was hard to explain in the moment.
All right, well, I'm sure he'll be able to keep us updated. Is that-
And he met with Consolidated Communications today, and I know they lowered the cost of it also after his meeting
Oh, nice.
today. I don't know to what effect, but I know the cost is now lower after his meeting, so.
All right, perfect.
Does that affect other towns too, like Samerton and?
On that end of Samverton, it has to be direct line of sight, but yes. So if you got up the hill, like on that side, like, I don't know how the terrain works, but yeah, it would help Samverton out a little bit on that end of town.
I think sometimes the public doesn't, I don't wanna say appreciate, but recognize all of the workings that go on in the background, you know, to make our response better and to make, you know, a safer situation for our guys when they're actually, guys and gals, when they're actually out on
In a
location.
building, or in a basement, or, yeah.
Yeah, communication with a portable is a very important thing that's very difficult in a lot of, not just our community, a lot of communities.
You know, so. All right, and then the third item is just an update on the building committee. I think he laid it out there, but the building committee has come to an agreement on the Sanborn Road building, the scope of the building. We're asking Lorero to do pricing on that building based on whether it has 4 garage spaces or 6 garage spaces. To understand what those extra 2 bays would cost. The reason it's important is that in the short term, if the plan goes as I envision it, as we talked about, and we build the Sanborn Road location first, we would, in theory, need 6 bays to hold all the equipment if Park Street, none of the bays are available during construction. After Park Street's reconfigured, then the question is, well, then do you really need 6 bays? And I think the chief and Deputy Galvani have talked about equipment and not seeing that other than maybe a 4th ambulance at some point down the road that we would be adding equipment. We used to have 3 engines and we only have 2, and there's no current desire to have more than two. We don't have enough manpower to run more than two. So it's not like, you know, if we build the 20, 25, 50-year building, we were anticipating that we need more garage space. So the committee decided that, all right, let's see, because we know we're gonna be pushed up against total cost of the project, we're all concerned about that. What would, and then the other thought, the garage space is the least expensive space
It
to
is,
build in
yeah.
the building. And if we're paying for this over a certain period of time and then you decide you need more space, it's gonna be pretty hard to go to the public and say, yeah, we didn't build it big enough and we need to add on to the building. So we asked for them to give us pricing for 4 bays up there or 6 bays. And that, we're hoping that comes forth before our next building committee meeting, which is on Monday the 28th or something. We have a meeting with the engineer, a Zoom meeting next Wednesday. And if they get the data to us fast enough, we'll have a meeting the next week, which I think is the 21st. We scheduled that meeting, not sure whether they would have the additional detail to us. If they don't, then we'll just cancel that meeting, go with our original meeting, which is the next week. We just wanna try to move it up because, you know, wanna keep things rolling. Now down at Park Street, we had an extensive discussion about 2 floors. The first floor works well for the layout. The second floor looks clumsy, there looks like a lot of wasted space. We keep shrinking the second floor, but obviously, you know, that just means you're giving up square footage on top of the first floor, which is okay. But there's a huge amount of space in 2 stairwells and an elevator and a lobby for the elevator. And because of the room configuration, we think there's excess bathrooms that you may not need if you were on 1 floor. Along with the long-term cost to have an elevator inspected and maintained, and then heat and light and clean all that extra square footage. And if it didn't cost more or that much more to put it on 1 floor, there seemed to be a lot of support for that, for the long-term cost of maintaining the building. So Lorero is working on, and that's part of the reason for the call next, no, it's
This week, on
This week,
Wednesday at
Wednesday.
noon.
To talk about some of those, because expanding the footprint to 1 floor requires
More site work,
more site
and
work.
more roof.
And it also eliminates some of your parking options, because you're gonna use more space that you might need for parking. So, that's what we're working on there, to try to get a better answer as to, is 1 floor really more expensive or less expensive than 2 floors? And we'd like to get some pricing so we can get a concept of, all right, if Sanborn Road's gonna cost this amount, and we already know that the site work at Sanborn Road is gonna be less than the site work at Park Street.
So are they just pricing out the building and the whole site work and everything?
Well, they gave us a square footage price for the building, but it didn't include, you know, contingencies and, you know, all these other factors that go into it. We already have the site work as a separate number within reason. But yeah, we don't know. So that's what we're looking for. What's the cost of it? You know, because if you do the square footage by the number they gave you, it's what, $380 some odd dollars a square foot. And you go, oh, the building's only 10,000 square feet, so that's like, you know, $3.5 million. Doesn't sound horrible. Well, when you add all the other stuff, is it now 4 million or is it 6 million?
Yeah.
So yeah, we need a better handle on that. And then when you look at that building and then you look at the size of Park Street, and you use the same numbers, it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So before we can talk about money, we need to get a better idea. Is that fair?
That's fair. You need to know what the final cost is going to be.
So we're moving along. It's very nice having Lisa Martin on that committee because she comes from that type of background and she asks very interesting questions and helps explain things to us that we don't necessarily. Yeah.
So your meetings are the 16th, the 27th, and 28th.
Right. so we have 3 meetings planned for this month. Happy to answer any questions on that, so that's my building committee report. The other one I'm sure somebody can talk to this, I don't know if you see this message in your package, but my understanding is that this will help us to get reimbursed or to be able to charge Medicaid, Medicare?
Not Medicare.
Not Medicare,
Just
Medicaid.
Medicaid and private insurance.
private, those, only those
For
two.
when the ambulance responds, but we don't transport.
We treat them, we have to treat them, but they don't, we get $93.60.
When you say treat them,
That means put a Band-Aid on them,
Aspirin.
give them aspirin.
okay, help them up out of off the floor.
No, that's not a treat.
No. So it's not like this isn't gonna bring
It's
15,
not-
we don't do a tremendous amount. We do these, it's, nebulizers, diabetics, overdose calls,
Yes,
those things.
Well, it's better than the 0 we get now.
Yes, much
that's
better.
true.
No,
I guess it would be interesting to know, like, if you look back at last month's calls, how many of them would have qualified for this?
Two,
Just two?
from May 1st to,
No.
Just remember-
Top that bubble.
I've started doing the homework on
Now,
that.
that, it doesn't matter if you still get it, if they get Medicare or Medicaid,
Medicaid,
yeah, if they live in town, we still would get that money.
yes. The only problem is we need their insurance information.
and that's my job to train the guys.
So we have,
We've already been talking.
yes, we have to train the guys
Because
to get that when they go to
Currently,
health.
you're getting it from the hospital after the fact?
Yes.
Correct.
Same thing like at an auto accident or
Right.
injuries.
Yep,
I see.
so, it'll be, once we figure out a way to implement it, it should be good. It should be.
Okay.
Growing pains.
Any other
for
questions
dogs.
on that? If not, I'd like to move on to the chief's report. So the chief's report, the big item I had, what we already discussed about the uses of the ambulance. Sean, is there anything in there that,
The ladder is out, the ladder will be gone for probably 10 to 15 days. Currently, Laconia will be covering our ladder, all ladder operations that we have. And Franklin on a special request, but probably mostly Laconia.
so they're fixing an airline side compartment, does that side compartment have something to do with the extrication tool equipment?
No, different compartment.
Okay.
Can I ask a stupid question?
Mhm.
Why would Laconia be covering up Franklin?
Because in a building fire, I want their 4 guys in there to come fight the fire with us. So, they're our backup crew, and we work so well together with them. When we fight fire, we have our 4 and their 3 or 4 depending on the day. And we need that crew to fight the fire. It's very rare that you need a ladder truck that quickly into a fire.
All right, I just,
Yeah, no, we had this discussion just this morning, and we had the same questions came up inside the firehouse.
Okay.
It's like, should we have it be Franklin's, and we decided that the engine from Franklin with their guys was more important than the ladder truck.
yeah, you're probably right, yeah, I understand.
And again, these are great questions because, the public are thinking the same thing.
Yeah, that's good to know.
Water heater was replaced at Park Street or?
Center Street,
Park Street?
emergency repair.
Yes.
Okay. I thought there was gonna be some update on the Park Street drainage problem.
So I have spoken with our call member who has agreed to do the work, we gotta get it lined up. I was kinda waiting on the chief's go-ahead to get that going. So, once I get that, I don't know how long it's gonna be, cause it's gonna be a weekend,
Yeah.
side project. And they're currently, the excavator they wanna use is stuck at a job in Massachusetts. So, that's, but once that's out of there and we can get that going.
So we're gonna take care of that ourselves.
Yeah, so what we're gonna do is, we're gonna scrape, where that drainage comes out, we're gonna just scrape that down, we're not gonna go too deep, put riprap in there, and then,
Just let it run down.
so we'll put fabric, and then the riprap in it, and let it run down. And then at the same time, we're gonna do underneath the, the canopy that goes over the Park Street shed there. We're gonna go down just a little bit through the whole thing, put fabric and then like 1 inch or 3/4 stone. And that way we can store the plow there for the summertime. We just don't want we don't want moisture coming up, so we gotta get the fabric and then some plastic down so the moisture doesn't rot that plow from the bottom up. And then it'll be protected on both ends.
I don't know if either of you went down there and looked at that. So, I asked the question, I happened to be down there the night they were redoing the sign out front, they did an awful nice job, had a big crew down there and had a lot of donated materials. But I asked why all of a sudden it was a problem, and apparently we put a water softener down there. And the water softener water drains there, so it killed the grass. So, the grass was what holding the hill together for the previous 40 years.
Yeah. Right.
I'm glad I was there because I didn't understand it either to me. And then when Tim Ames explained that, I'm like, oh, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, right.
Make the consequences of making a change.
Mm.
All right, well, that's good, thank you.
And he's not here, but I just want to point out, you mentioned that Deputy Robinson was instrumental in Tom Boyd both in getting that done. And Dwayne came down and did a bunch of work too. But Tom and Mike did an excellent job doing that. Over and getting those letters, the new letters, if you guys haven't seen
There
it.
was a
Yeah,
whole crew down
see it
there.
every day.
There was a lot of people there. I just happened to be driving by, so we stopped. Yeah. No, it's-
I think sometimes Mike Robinson and some of the other guys there, they really take pride in the fire station.
They
Yeah.
absolutely do. I assume Mike's not here because you're having training?
Nope, we were supposed to have a meeting at 4:30, he was stuck, he was in driver training, he was stuck in a truck doing the driver training, so he was gonna be really late, so yeah, I think he's been in that truck all day long. So I don't know what time he got, even, he might still be in the truck at this time.
No.
Um,
Did you have training tonight?
No, the first and third Mondays. Yeah, tonight would be a call officer meeting. It's the second Monday.
All right, I don't have anything else on the chief's report. Anything else in there? All right, old business, fire station finance committee, we haven't really moved forward on that because we're waiting to have some numbers to help us, to have an agenda item for that. I guess we can have the same conversation about the marketing committee, again, not sure what we're marketing yet and how to move forward with that. So, do wanna get that going. Well, there's the Park Street drainage repair right there. So, I don't really have a lot to report on those two items.
We can take the next big drain out of there.
New business, is there any new business?
No, but Sean, did you need to talk about the surplus fire extinguisher trainer?
Oh,
We handled that last.
yeah, it's already been done, it's, yeah, the agreement's been signed, Laconia's taken possession of it, I have the contract, I'm sorry, I thought that was.
And we haven't, we're still waiting for the 120-day period on the.
Yep, so I actually have a draft, I went on municipal bid last week, I took the pictures, I have a draft, up of it, I'm still trying to get a few specs so I can get some stuff in there. So I have it set, actually I was gonna ask Jason tonight what a good day to end it on is, if you have a suggestion on. But so right now I have it set, a week from today, go, live.
Yeah.
And then, the Friday before our next commissioners meeting to end, at 2:00 in the afternoon. So our next commission meeting is at, I think on August 12th. So I think I have it set to end on August 8th. And that way we could have everything done, and then on August 12th, you could, approve whatever we
Yeah.
get.
Doesn't really matter day of the week, because they're not gonna skip out on paying, because it's on us that we have to kind of vote and approve the bid.
Yeah.
So having it closer to our meeting is probably.
Yeah, that's why I figured that Friday, you could give me that Monday to
Yep.
figure out all the
Yeah.
details, and then you could vote on it Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that would be August 12th.
And that meets the 120-day
Yes,
requirement.
by like a day. Yeah.
All right, thank you. It'd be good to get that moved out of
Yeah.
there. Alright, any other new business that anyone's aware of? Alright, hearing none, let's go to review of meeting minutes. You've received them in the mail, you have a copy in your packet.
In case you didn't get a chance to read your email today, I put a copy of the packets.
So how many minutes, how many meetings happen as far as getting minutes, if there's all these meetings going on? Is it building committee?
The commissioners and the building committee minutes. And
Right
the
now
building
it's-
committee, the building committee minutes take a long time because everybody talks over everybody and she has to keep going
Stop
back.
and start and,
There's no cohesive, that meeting is not being run cohesively.
yeah,
It's like everybody just talks.
Who's the guy to talk to?
He's not the chairman.
Bring it up.
No, Mr. Chairman, if you could handle that. I mean, it's really difficult to figure out who's talking and what they're saying and.
And there's a lot of people at the meeting, so
Yeah.
Lauren has a hard time.
yeah, no, I thought, I didn't know if there was, if they had, she had to do like
No.
other meetings for like the shift officers or the.
No, it's just for the building committee and the commissioners.
Yeah,
And the building committee meets at least twice as often as we do,
Yeah.
and their minutes are usually longer.
They take longer because,
well, if we met last week, she wouldn't have had the minutes on.
Right, well, she probably would have been forced to, but. Alright, I move the minutes of the June 10th, 2025 Commissioners meeting to the floor for approval.
Second.
Alright, any discussion? I've read through their, they look okay to me. I didn't find anything glaring. Alright, motion to accept, aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion's approved. Alright, you have the minutes to the non-public in your packet.
yes,
All together.
they were the regular meeting minutes and then the two non-publics right after.
They're labeled minutes 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I don't see any reason why we can't approve both of those together. So I'll make a motion that we approve the non-public commissioners meeting minutes for both session 1 and non-public session 2 from June 10th, 2025. It looks very clear to me. Any discussion? All right, hearing none, all those in favor of approving the non-public session 1 and session 2 minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
I'm sorry, who seconded it?
Paul did.
Paul did?
Other business, sign, review and sign manifest, or we're working on that. What is the water purchasing policy? Didn't we
Oh.
already do that?
You reviewed it, but the date was wrong.
Oh, that's right.
Here you go.
Do these draft minutes have to come back?
Nope. Not if you don't want to.
Those when I get to disposition. Do we have disposition?
Yes,
All right.
but we need to go.
Did you guys both look at these?
I got the big one.
Okay. All right, we don't have to do that right now. All right, are we ready for non-public?
There's both sheets for you,
We're going into A first.
if you wish.
This is A.
That's A. Thank you.
to enter non-public for the reason RSA 91-A:3, Roman numeral 2, bracket A, the dismissal, promotion, or compensation of any public employee or the discipline of such employee or the investigation of any charges against him or her unless the employee affected, 1, has the right to a public meeting, and 2, requests that the meeting be open, in which case the request shall be granted. Roll call vote to enter non-public. Paul Ogier.
Yes.
Tim Sattler, yes. Jason Wright.
Yes.
And who's seconding this motion?
Who seconded this? We need a second.
Hang on. Let me listen.
Second.
Thank you.
He was using AI, the second for him.
All right, we're gonna go into non-public at 6:40 PM.
And this one pause, or do I just stop the recording, Kathy?
I don't know, we haven't gotten that far.
All right.